Which expression is equivalent to x plus 3 squared plus 4 times x plus 3 minus 5? What we can do is put this into the calculator and look for the zeros. Remember, the zeros are values of x which make y 0. As you can see, -8 and -2 are the zeros. In factored form, this would be x plus 8 times x plus 2, which is choice 2. Number 2. Which value to the nearest tenth is an appropriate solution for the equation? What we can do is plug in the values of the choices into the equations. So 5 over 3.2 minus 3 is 25, and 2 times 1.3 to the power of 3.2 is 4.6. And 5 over 3.9 minus 3 is equal to 5.56. 2 times 1.3 to the power of 3.9 is equal to 5.56. So choice 2 is correct. Number 3. Which equation is graphed in the diagram below? We know that y is equal to a times cosine x minus h times k, or y is also equal to a sine x minus h times k. We know in cosine graphs that they start at the midline, which we can see by the red line, and the y-intercept is 0, 5. This shows us there's a vertical shift 5 units up. So the k value is equal to 5, and choice 2 is correct. Number 4. Which point is in quadrant 3 and is a solution to the system below? We can set these equations equal to each other. So x squared minus 24 is equal to x minus 12. We can add 24 to both sides and minus x minus 12 to move it all to one side. We can factor this to x minus 4 times x plus 3, so x is equal to 4 and x is equal to negative 3. Because the point is in quadrant 3, we know the answer is choice 2. Number 5. For which equation will the value s is equal to 4 make the statement an identity? 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3, which is 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. When we substitute s is equal to 4 into number 1, this statement is true. X minus 2 times x minus 2 is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 6, which is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. X minus 2 times x squared minus 4x plus 4 is not equal to x minus 2 times x squared plus 4x plus 4. Choice 1 is correct. Number 6. The number of bacteria in a sample which can be modeled by an exponential regression is shown in the table below. The time observed will be the x values and the number of bacteria will be the y values. We can input this into the calculator by going to stat 1, putting in the values, and then going to stat calc 0. Using the exponential regression formula, y is equal to a times b to the x, we can plug in the values of a and b and x. Y is equal to 167.8, which rounds to 168, which is choice 3. Number 7. Factored completely, x to the 4 plus 4x to the 3 minus 9x squared minus 36x is equivalent to. Let's go to the calculator and input this into y equals. Then go to second graph. Then find the zeros, whatever y values are equal to 0. X is equal to 0, negative 3, positive 3, and negative 4, which is x times x plus 3 times x minus 3 times x plus 4, which is choice 2. Number 8. The solution set for the equation x plus 1 is equal to the square root of 4x plus 25 is. The first step would be to square both sides. This would be x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 4x plus 25. Then move everything to one side. 0 is equal to negative x squared plus 2x plus 24, which becomes x squared minus 2x minus 24, and this factors to x is equal to negative 4 and positive 6. Then we check for extraneous solutions. All you have to do is substitute the values of x we found into the original equation. As you can see, negative 3 is not equal to positive 3, but positive 7 is equal to positive 7, which is choice 2. Number 9. If f of x is represented by the graph below, which translation of f of x will have imaginary roots? As you can see, choice 3 would do this, as moving it up 5 units would make sure this graph doesn't cross the x-axis, which means there are no real roots. Number 10. The solutions to the equation 3x squared minus 4x plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 3 are. What we will first do is move everything to one side by minusing 2x plus 3. This would be 3x squared minus 6x plus 5. Then we could fill this into the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The values of a, b, and c are 3, negative 6, and 5 respectively. After filling this into the equation, we get x is equal to 1 plus or minus 1 times the square root of negative 6 over 3, which is 1 plus or minus 6i over 3, which is choice 2. A culture of 1,000 bacteria triples every 10 hours. Which expression models the number of bacteria in the sample after t hours? We know the equation is P of t is equal to a times r to the power of t. A is 1,000, that is the original amount. R is 3 because it triples, and t is hours over 10 because it triples every 10 hours. Number 12. An initial investment of $5,000 in an account earns 3.5 annual interest. Which function correctly represents a recursive model of the investment after 10 hours? We know recursive formulas require knowing the previous term. Therefore, we can eliminate choices 1 and 3. They are not recursive formulas. Therefore, choice 4 is correct, as it shows an increase of 3.5%. Number 13. Which expression is equivalent to 2xy squared times the cube root of x squared y? So we know that a to the power of x over y is equal to y square root sign a to the power of x. Therefore, the cube root of x squared y is equal to x to the power of 2/3 times y to the power of 1/3. X times x to the 2/3 is equal to x to the 1 plus x to the 2/3, which is equal to x to the 5/3. Y squared times y to the 1/3 is equal to y squared plus y to the 1/3, which is equal to y to the 7/3. Number 14. Which statements must be true about the polynomial function k of x is equal to negative 2x cubed minus 11x squared minus 12x plus 9? The first thing we could do is go into our calculators and go into y equals and plot this polynomial function. Once you go to second graph, you can check to see what the zeros are. And as you can see, x is equal to 3 is a factor. And when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 9. Next, we can divide the polynomial by x plus 2 to see what the remainder is. After dividing regularly, we can see the remainder is 5. So 3 is correct. Number 15. To prepare for lacrosse tryouts, Cole is increasing the amount of time he spends at the gym. This week, he is planning to spend 150 minutes there, and he plans to increase this amount by 2% each week. The amount of time in minutes that he plans to spend at the gym t weeks from now is given by the function a of t is equal to 150 times 1.02 to the power of t. In terms of daily growth, the amount of time Cole is planning to spend at the gym can best be modeled by the function. What you can do is multiply 1.02 to the 1/7 power. Then multiply t by 7, which gives us choice 4. Number 16. Mr. Zachary posts review assignments on the Beta Math website for students. On his last test, 49% of his students used beta math and passed. Overall, 68% of his students used beta math. Approximately what percentage of Mr. Zachary's students passed, given that they used beta math? The formula for this is the probability of A given B is equal to the probability of A and B over the probability of B. The probability of A and B is 0.49, and the probability of B is 0.68. The probability of A given B, therefore, is 0.49 over 0.68, which is 0.72, or 72% choice 4. Number 17. Given sine of theta is equal to 7 over 25, and theta terminates in quadrant 2, what is the value of tan theta? Well, we know sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So 7 is the opposite, and hypotenuse is 25. We can draw a triangle to model this. We know a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Let's input the missing side as x. X squared plus 7 squared is equal to 25 squared, or x squared is equal to 576, and x is equal to 24. However, because this is in quadrant 2, we can use the trick all students take calculus, and we can see that only sine will be positive. Therefore, tan is negative. Tan is equal to opposite over adjacent, which is equal to 7 over 24. Therefore, negative 7/24 is the answer, or choice 1. Number 18. A family-owned grocery store in New Hartford, New York employs 49 people whose ages are approximately normally distributed with a mean of 36 years and a standard deviation of 6.2 years. Ryan has been hired to work at the store. He is 30 years old. How many people who work at the store would you expect to be younger than Ryan? What we can do is use our calculator and go to normal CDF. Then input these values and copy and paste. Then multiply the number we get by 49, which rounds to 8, choice 4. Number 19. For the function d of x is equal to the cube root of x plus 2, the inverse function equals, what we have to do is reverse the y and x values. So x is equal to the cube root of y plus 2. Then we can cube both sides and minus 2, which gives us choice 4. Number 20. Given f of x is equal to x to the 4 plus x to the 3 minus 3x squared plus 9x minus 108, and f of 3 is equal to 0, which values satisfy f of x is equal to 0? We already know 3 is a root, so that eliminates choice 2 and 4. And we know negative 4 is a root because it's the only option. We can check in our calculator if we go to y equals, graph, then second graph. Finally, we can plug in positive 3i and negative 3i, and we can see choice 3 is correct. Number 21. The profit function p of x is found by subtracting the cost function c of x from the revenue function r of x. Which function below represents the cost function, given p of x is equal to negative 15x squared plus 600x plus 60, and r of x is equal to negative 0.4x squared plus 130x plus 1200. We know that p of x is equal to r of x minus c of x. Therefore, r of x minus p of x is equal to c of x. Once we substitute p of x from r of x, we get 14.6x squared minus 470x plus 1140, which is choice C. Number 22. What is the remainder when 4x cubed minus 3x plus 3 is divided by x minus 2? For this, we can just set it up regularly and divide. The remainder is 29, choice 4. 23. The parabola with the equation 12x plus 1 plus x minus 4 squared has. So we can set up the equation in a way that's more familiar to us, where y minus k is equal to 1 over 4p times x minus h squared. We can move the 12 to the other side. So this is y plus 1 is equal to 1 over 12 times x minus 4 squared. Then we can draw the y and x axis and plot this. The p-value is 3, the vertex is 4, 1, the focus is not 4, negative 1, the vertex is not at 4, 2, and the p-value is 3, so choice 4 is incorrect. That leaves us with choice 3. 24. Jay is training for a bike race over 15 weeks. At the end of the first week, he has ridden 3 miles, and he is planning to increase his weekly distance by 9% each week. Approximately how many miles total will he have ridden from the beginning of his training to the end of the 15th week? So we can set up the summation formula, where Sn is equal to a1 times 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. The rate is 1.09. We can plug this in and see that the summation of 15 weeks is 293.609, which is choice 4.